we're going to create some aged steel here, some worn steel. And this is very simple to do. You're just going to double click on the V-Ray material and make sure your ball is selected and or your whatever your object is, assign it there. And I'm just going to double click so we can see more what's going on here. And I like seeing the background so I can see what's happening. Now if you turn off Fresnel, get your reflection all the way up. And diffuse, let's make that black. Well, actually, I'm going to put this about here. And let's lower down the reflective glossiness to about 0.6. So that's what we have, and this is why I put on show background in preview for metals, is because otherwise you just can't see what's happening. So now we can see the reflections and what's going on. Make sure your BRDF, you've got microfacet GTR GGX going here. And I'm just going to leave this GTR tail fall off at 2 for now. You can adjust that and adjust the anisotropium rotation if you like, but I'm going to leave that as it is. Alright, now this is really very simple. I have some reference images here, something like that, or this, and this. So there's just a bit of grunge going on here. These might not be the best example, but we're just going to create a steel, something like this. And what we're going to do is if you go and you can just open Google and Grunge Map or Dirt Map, and you get similar results. You can also create these yourself. And let's say we use something like this. Sometimes it doesn't load. You can just normally right click on visit. Sorry, click on visit if you like. And then here we get this. I'm just going to do a free download. 1920 by 1280 will do me. You can download the higher resolution one if you like. And I'm going to put it into maps, just paste it in there. And I'm going to right click, open with Photoshop. And really what I want to do is I need these lights to be lighter. So I'm just going to lighten this up. It's about there. And I know it's not seamless. I'm not bothered about that really. I don't need it seamless for this. And I'm just going to grab this and drag and drop it in here. And if you put that into reflection, try reflection glossiness. I'll just give you some ideas of the difference of if you put it into reflection and reflection glossiness, just so you can see what's going on. And then you can figure out, you know, the best way of doing it. But if I look at, I'm just going to render this around the ball. And let me just adjust the noise threshold. And make this small. Make sure I'm not saving it. Make the noise threshold higher. So here you can get an idea. Let's lower this even further. Let's go there. Right, so here you can clearly see where it's reflective and where it isn't. And that's being caused by the lights and darks in there. So that's in reflection glossiness. And we'll just save that out. And then if I put this into the reflection map instead, it's going to prevent it. The darks will prevent it from reflecting in those areas. So often for grungy textures, metals, I'll just put it in the reflection slot. And that normally works out pretty good. You don't have to worry too much about the reflection glossiness. So we can save that. What we'll do for just testing is we'll just put this into reflection glossiness as well. And we'll just see how a render of both of those comes out. So if we have a look at these, this is just a reflection, And this is it in reflection and reflective glossiness. The same map. Now normally in reflective glossiness, you might have the same map, but what you'll do is you'll have a less variation going on. So I actually want it slightly darker though. See, for refraction glossiness for this, I need something like that. So there's less contrast, but I don't want to have those sharp highlights. And I'm just going to drag this, shift left click and drag that. And just take that glossiness one and put that straight into here. Okay, now that's a bit too dark. Now I can take this into Photoshop and I can edit and change it more. Or what I can do is, I'm doing this all the time, just put a color correction, just grab that, put it in there, advanced, and just raise this, try 3, try 2, 2.5. Okay, and now we're just going to render this. Like I said, you can edit that in Photoshop if you like. But it gets to the point where it just takes too much time. You're editing, testing, editing, testing, editing, testing, and it's easier to just put color correction on there and then render. So if we take a look, we're just going to put this in A, and in B we're going to have the one with just the reflection, not reflective glossiness. And you can see that difference there. Now, probably what I've done is I've done it too much, so just to adjust this quickly. I'm actually going to create some contrast in here anyway. And I'm going to lower this opacity. I'm going to try this for fun. I think this will work out nicely. Actually, hang on, we need to bring this up. Need to bring the dirt up. Okay, we'll try this. Oops. Anyway, the point is you can play around with these, and you need to know that the glossiness where it's white, you're going to really start seeing reflections clearly. But that looks pretty nice. And you can just play around and figure out what you're going to do and what sort of effect you want to create. But this gives you some idea here of what you can do and how to create this old and dirty steel material. Okay, another thing to cover here is the bump. Now normally for this sort of material you need to have a bump map going on there, and we can use one of these as a bump map. I'll probably use this. And what you do is you just plug that into bump and set your bump here. I'm going to try it at 5. And then what you want to do is you really need to reduce this blur. You can just, by default, all bitmaps come in at 1, and I'm going to reduce it to 0.01. And I think I'll get a better result with that. So that's all I'll do really to add some bump in there. You can see the difference here being added, this extra level of detail. But you need to pay attention here, the render time here has come up quite significantly. That's gone from 23 seconds to 29 seconds. So just be wary that your render time is going to increase as you start adding in bump detail in there. Now, one other thing, if you want to create a fall off and put it in there, you can do that. all you need to do is go into your maps, go general, double click on fall off, bring this, we're going to plug that straight into reflection map, close the mix curve in output, make sure you enable that, bring this up to about here, put that there, drag that down, right click, Bezier smooth, bring that down. And then what you're going to do is we still want the detail from this map in here, so let's just take a composite map, put it on there, layer 1, add a new layer here, and then we're going to plug this straight in here into layer 2, and in layer 2 we're going to change this to multiply. And let's click render. So that's just made it slightly darker, just insignificantly darker in my mind. If you want to bring that up higher, you can just take these and drag these off a bit, and that'll make it lighter and brighter. But that's how you add a fall off there into that. You just do it in multiply. And if you want to put OSL in, as I've gone over in my other tutorials, you can do that, and you can put that in instead of this. You just come along, make sure you have the OSL. Okay, make sure you've downloaded OSL from here, from this V-Ray page. If you just Google OSL V-Ray, you'll find this complex Fresnel shader page. And then you need to download this, save that, and place that somewhere. I put it in my Autodesk folder in program files. And then this gives you all the details you need to have. All you need to do is you come along to Maps, V-Ray Map, you want your OSL texture, just plug that straight into reflections for now. Obviously it can't tell what it's doing, there's no data here. Click on shader file, wherever you've put that OSL, just navigate to it. I've got it in my Autodesk install folder. I created a new folder in here called OSL and I put it in there. And then all you need to do really, steel is an alloy, so you're not really messing with anything by changing this. We're just going to make this actually 3.5. Actually, let's make it more 3.7 and see if it makes it blue. Yeah, that makes it blue. This is red, green, and blue. So this is their values. And I'm just making it so there's a bit more blue coming in here. And then we're just going to plug that into layer 1 instead of the fall off, and then plug the composite into there. And we'll just do a quick render. Actually, you know what? Since we've got this open and I'm having fun, we're going to change this. You just see what this does. Okay, I don't think it's my imagination. I think that's added in. If I put it there. 0.1. It's added in yellow, hasn't it? So if I make this 0.1, this 0.3, this 0.2, I'll get some blue. And what I'm going to do is plug that into there with all this detail on. Okay. I'll make that A. So you can see I put some blue in there with the OSL. But basically it's very similar to the fall off. There's very little difference. And the reason I put blue in, it wasn't just, oh, I felt like adding blue. See this metal here, this steel is slightly blue. This has got a blue tinge to it. I just find that often when you look at steel, like this, there's a slight blue hue. Here, not so. So that's why I haven't done it up till now. But occasionally you get a slight blue hue going on with the steel. I guess it depends on the alloy and how it's made. But that's why I've just added in a little bit of blue. That's red, green, and blue. And And this here is to do with the extinct coefficient. Okay, that's how I would add a fall off or an OSL texture and create this really nice aged, worn, old steel texture.